stay-at-home dad, watching Disney movies he never had. His daughter digs through all the VHS, crushing the classics in a princess dress. Informed like Scuttle, Kurt's got your ticket, making it real like Jiminy Cricket. Most are off the Captain Hook, but if the Tweedledum, he'll be taking more shots than Bambi's mom. Leave him raised like Simba, or cracked like the beast dishes. He'll show you a whole new world, you won't need pre-wishes. Stay-at-home Disney dad.
Christmas week 3. This is the same VH cover as the Santa Claus. We optimistically hit play. Coming soon to theaters, Peter Pan 2, where we examine the long-term effects of children living in war zones. I'm in the Christmas spirit now, followed by Now You Can Own, the original Peter Pan. No, hard pass. Peter Pan 2 was way better than the original. Have you noticed how when they try to advertise for Peter Pan and like present day, they have very limited shots to use? Because between the topless mermaids and the depiction of the indigenous characters, there's not a lot left to use. Now we hit Bizarro World with the Princess of Thieves and the child star Shirley Temple's story. What? More ads. Okay, feature presentation. We start with an orphanage and there's a kid writing to Santa, and all he wants is, quote, a happy Christmas with a family who loves me. Love, Peter. The orphanage lady then appears and tells Peter that his dad isn't coming back for Christmas, not ever. Then the orphanage lady tosses the letter to Santa in the fireplace, and we stop the video because my child has questions, and my child is kind of upset. Hey, I forgot we need to bake some cookies right now. You better watch out. You better not cry. Okay, now it's later in the day, and I'm watching this by myself with a beer. Peter Albright was the kid in the orphanage. Now he's grown up and he works for Channel 12 News and he's trying to do streeters. And everyone is mad at him. Dude, your technique is terrible. I've done streeters hundreds of times. You can't just run up and stick a camera and a mic in people's faces. He's mad at his work. He wants a real assignment. He jokes that he should dress up as Santa with a hidden camera in his hat. This news boss loves that idea, tells him to go do it. He immediately harasses some girl in a tight dress and says, you're on many boys' Christmas lists and I would like to unwrap you. Jesus Christ, dude. Oh no, this is his girlfriend. That makes it much less assaulty. Now the kids beat him up and he bumbles into the real Santa, who falls into a tree and he's wheeled out on a gurney like he was the mall Santa. Since Peter took out mall Santa, the mall boss makes Peter, who is still dressed like Santa, be the Santa at the mall. Then a girl pees on him and the Santa agency can't send a new real Santa 3 days before Christmas, so no one knows what to do. And now we're suddenly in Santa's workshop in the North Pole. That happened quickly. Okay, so this is real Santa getting his reindeer ready for Christmas Eve. Santa is concerned because he put on an old suit and found letters from the 70s in the pockets that he forgot about. Santa bitches to his street smart African-American elf that he never gets thanked by anyone. This elf feels like a combination of every single SNL cast member that's ever been on the show. Santa says he's going to go for a ride and clear his head. We learn that Pete grew up to hate Christmas, and I can't blame him. Pete in tight dress get back to her place, and her son and the babysitter are watching Popeye cartoons. Her kid gives Peter the gears and asks mom if she likes Peter, and she says, yeah, do you? And he goes, I don't know. He doesn't listen to anyone, and he's always on his stupid phone. Oh, kid, just you wait. Mom is named Charlie and kid is named Zach. Then the kid's asleep and Pete and they're cuddling in front of the fire and he asks if he can stay over. And she says no because it's confusing for Zach if Peter's there in the morning. And because those two have super loud sex. It's morning and Pete had fallen asleep and he's still in her bed and she hears her kid running into the room. So she makes Pete hide and then tries to run interference as he sneaks out. It goes back and forth, but eventually they're busted by Zach. And it felt like that scene lasted an entire day. It's been a year and he still hasn't made any connection to Zach. She tells Peter if he's gonna be in her life, then he has to get along with her son. Okay, her name is Claire, actually. Have a holly jolly Christmas. Why can't we just get a normal Christmas movie this year, okay? Santa falls out of his sleigh and he lands on the hood of Peter's car. We fade to black, so this must have been a Disney Channel movie. Okay, dead Santa is now in their apartment, because that's what you do when you find an unconscious grown man. You take them into your home. He wakes up with amnesia and Zach says, Peter ran you over, Santa, and they can't find any identification. They ask him his name, he can't remember. This was 100% a Mad TV sketch from around this time. He's dressed as Santa, he looks like Santa, so Pete tells Claire to hire this guy to be the mall Santa. She's like, he has amnesia. Sounds perfect to me. Pete gets a phone call and leaves. Pete leaves this strange man with mental illness alone in the apartment with his girlfriend and her kid. Outside they find reindeer wandering around and a sleigh that apparently fell from the sky. Everything works out all the time, and Amnesia Santa is now working at the mall. Oh no, he's just auditioning for the role of Mall Santa. We get a montage of all these losers blowing their auditions, but real Santa doesn't get it in the end. They hired someone else. As he leaves, he talks to the other Santa, ringing the bell for the Salvation Army bucket, and he starts telling the real Santa how much it would suck to be real Santa because you never get to meet the kids you make happy. Back to the mall, new Santa that got the job dies. He's coughing and he falls over through a railing. Okay, he's not dead, but he's out. And the real Santa is back in. Wow, what a spectacularly unnecessary couple of scenes. Okay, they're washing his hair and he's all loony. He starts asking if anyone has ever thought of giving kids gifts for free, but sneaking into their homes while they're asleep. And they're confused, but they just push him into the mall Santa chair and tell him to be jolly. The real elves are at the North Pole and freaking out because they can't find him. Now we get spy music as 3 elves go undercover and they try to get on a flight like an airplane. They get busted through customs though because they have these giant bags. So now they're being interrogated, and when the agents open the first Santa sack, those spring snakes fly out. The next one, he sticks his hand in, it's full of those wind-up chomping teeth, and it bites the agent's hands. So they're just like, get out of here, and airport security gets annoyed and tells them just get on the plane. Pre-9/11 travel. Peter is now doing a story about this Santa who's lost his mind. He wants someone out there to recognize this man so he could be reunited with his family before Christmas. They have 48 hours. It's world news wide, it's blown up, and all the loonies are lining up pretending they know who this guy is for some reason. I don't know. He asks his girlfriend Claire out for supper and she's like, no, gonna go home and spend time with the kid, and Peter is a dick about it. Peter wants to let fake/real Santa crash at his place, so they walk down the street and everyone loves Santa, but Pete's bringing him down, complaining about women. Claire wants to settle down, but I don't want an instant family. Santa says kids are wiser than adults. They see things we no longer see. Peter just doesn't get Christmas. He did all of his shopping in 90 minutes out of a catalog, so Peter spends all his time on the phone and doesn't do any shopping in actual stores. Peter is from the future. Weird exchange where Peter goes to get Santa PJs, and when he comes back, Santa's already in his red PJs, like he was wearing them under his outfit, and this just sends Pete for a loop for some reason, and I don't understand why. This is the first suspicious thing he's seen the Santa guy do, and he's like, he's in PJs. The elves continue looking for Santa as it turns into morning. Pete walks him back to the mall and is like, hey, maybe we'll find your family today. Now we meet a husband and wife who see this on TV and they think Santa looks like their grandpa who's been gone for 10 years. All right, undercover elves are scoping out all the fake Santas in the city. Peter's such a dick to Zach. I don't understand it. They want to put Santa under hypnosis. He's surrounded by little people, animals, flying, and then remembers being on a roof and falling. Zach is like, there, see, under hypnosis, he's Santa. Peter's like, off, you little blocky kid. I hate Christmas and I hate kids, and all I want to do is your mom 24/7, but I can't because you're always in my way. Santa remembers the doctor saying he needed something familiar to jog his memory, and Zach is like, that's it! And he takes Santa out of the building. He takes him to one of those old-timey window displays. Here in Saskatoon, they set one up. It was from the 1950 Eaton's department store window, but they display it around Christmas time in our museum, and it's amazing. It'll never not be awesome. The elves are still hot on his trail. Zach takes Santa to his reindeer next, and he still doesn't remember anything. He gets Santa to sit in the actual sleigh, and then he finds some letters in the sleigh, and then carolers start singing. Light bulb kind of slowly starts to come on, but then here comes Peter to ruin the progress. Zach starts laying into Peter about ruining Christmas for kids all over the world. Peter's hairpiece is unforgivable, and this kid actor doesn't have that serious moment delivery gear just yet. But now a truck is hauling the sleigh to put it on a rooftop display a few blocks over, and the driver lets Santa and a whole bunch of kids sit in the sleigh as he drives away. And any other time of the year, this would be kidnapping, but around the holidays, this is Christmas fun. His phone, his portable phone rings, and they have their first real lead. It's that couple. Now Peter's like, wait, I thought maybe, just maybe. Now Peter's kind of sad because he wanted this guy to be the real Santa after all. So this couple, 10 years ago, their grandpa left to be Santa at a Knights of Columbus event. He never showed up. Now Peter's on the attack. He's like, you mean this guy's been running around a Santa suit for 10 years? Come on. They explain to him that this amnesiac Santa's background is a family of 10, grew up on a farm, and flew bombers. So little people, animals, and flying. All the dots connected. Peter tells Santa his real name, that he's going home tomorrow. Peter and Zach fight. Santa just watches, and then Claire finally pulls Peter out into the hall and reprimands him. You don't get to yell at my kid, because you're taking your lousy childhood out on my child? Yeah, give this loser hell, Claire. She dumps him a day before Christmas Eve. Now the men are having a heart-to-heart, and Santa is like, kinda starting to remember. He invites Peter to sit down, and he reads him The Night Before Christmas, and I feel a flashback coming on, because we're like going slowly into Peter. No, swerve, Santa just fell asleep. All right. But as he sleeps, he has a nightmare that's terrifying for real. I'm glad my kid's not watching. Peter also has a nightmare, but it's about his family abandoning him at the orphanage. This movie is not fun. This movie is not fun at all. They both wake up from their nightmares and spill their guts to each other about their dreams, and Santa's like, well, if the sister at the orphanage was Norwegian, it's a Norwegian tradition to burn the letters in the fire to get them to Santa quicker. And Peter goes, well, whatever, I'll never get a family. And Santa goes, I wouldn't be so sure. Peter says, my woman won't talk to me, and her kid thinks I'm the Grouch that stole Christmas. The Grouch. That is good stuff, pal. There's a press conference where they reunite Santa with his family. He's saying goodbye to everyone. He says a special goodbye to Zach, and Zach still tries telling him he's the real Santa. This is a weird movie. There's so much sadness. Back at the apartment, Zach is sad, and he feels stupid, and Zach is sad because tomorrow the whole world is going to wake up with empty stockings. Okay, so like, Santa in this universe, in this movie, is real. Like, if parents won't fill the stockings tonight, then they do believe in Santa, right? Because Santa does it. So Santa is real in this movie, but if they refuse to believe that even though there is a real Santa, that this guy could possibly be the real Santa. He couldn't be. Okay, anyway. Back in the newsroom, Peter is going through the stack of mail he found in Santa's sleigh, and there's the letter Peter wrote when he was a kid. The one that went into the fire. How is this possible? Oh my God, Peter says he is the real Santa. Peter calls Santa as he's driving home with that couple, and he asks him where he got the letters, and because Pete's like, no one could have those letters except the real Santa. You're Santa. I'm Santa. Peter calls Zach and is like, I believe you. I need you to meet me at the toy shop. But then Peter is punched and kidnapped by the elves, and this is stupid. The movie is all over the place, but these elves ruin every single time, every single scene they're in. Zach is now in the sleigh that's on display on a roof. He's holding up the letters and he's like, you are Santa. Santa goes, I am, and Peter thinks so too. And then the sleigh starts to slip off the roof and Santa climbs into the sleigh and it slides, and then Santa remembers his magic at the last second and the sleigh is suspended in the air and everyone realizes this actually is the real Santa, and the elves show up and are like, Santa, we're running out of time. We need to start delivering the gifts right now. We gotta go get the reindeer. And the guy holding them is like, if you're the Santa, where are your elves? If you're the real Santa, where are your elves? And we get this like Armageddon walk with the elves. And I hated this with every fiber of my being. But then I rewound it to take a couple pictures. And honestly, I didn't hate it the second time. I don't know what happened. If I was a kid, I probably would have thought that was a pretty awesome scene. They get the reindeer back, and Santa and the elves take to the sky in the sleigh with Zach and his mom and Peter. Ain't no thing anymore. Peter starts like backtracking and is like, you don't have a dad, Zach, and neither do I, and I love your mom. And Peter's reformed like the Bumble, and he asks her to marry him in the sleigh. And this poor idiot woman just takes this man-child back. Peter says, looks like I got my Christmas wish for a family. I mean, you had that already, guy. You had that way before you decided to believe in Santa. They go to the mall, and the new mall Santa gives the real Santa his Santa suit back. They're running out of time, so Santa goes, yes, time to use some Christmas magic. And suddenly he gets fat and his beard grows back, and that's not gonna save time, bro. That's wasting more time. You could have been delivering presents. He waves goodbye to the family of three, and Jingle Bell Rock starts. Peter's now doing a new stand-up showing the world that this guy was really Santa. The family find their real grandpa in an old folks home now. Just like that. After 10 years, turns out he was in the old folks home down the street. Wonderful. Peter writes Santa another note and tosses it into the fire where it turns into smoke and drifts up to Santa and magically reappears and he gets to the letter and the elf takes it from him and goes, I'll take that, Santa. And Santa's like, ho, 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 like you almost got me. What is happening? Then in the perfect weird ending to a perfect bizarre movie.
Santa, I got 2 words for you. I got 2 words for you. I got 2 words for you. I got 2 words. I got 2 words for you. I got 2 words for you.
We got 2